Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Then we start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimrantasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunvitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजभाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं आनतोऽस्मि यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपमतितितीर्षतां तमो संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं त्वं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनिना योऽन्तःप्रविश्य मम वाचमं प्रसुप्तं सञ्जीवयते क्लशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवति विशाय कृष्णा. Just a minute. Couldn't share some with them. Okay. So we are doing the two shlokas, 9.1.2.9 and 10. Something that's being shown. Okay, no problem. I'm not getting it. I'll try to find it. So we are doing the shloka 1.2.9 and 10. So last week we discussed the concept, overall concept that if you remember, like we discussed this uh, flow graph where moksha gives rise to dharma, or no, dharma gives rise to artha, artha gives rise to kama, are kind of byproducts. These are byproducts, but if you use them for sense gratification, then they will reduce. But if you use for higher purpose, they will increase. Kind of, we saw how this hydraulic system, right? And then horse before the cart example, etc. We saw. And also we saw the quote from Srila Prabhupada in 2.3.17, how if one gives charity, the money, instead of spending, if it is given in charity, uh, at least some amount, it goes to give it back much more in future. Right? This we saw. Yeah, these all, I think last time we saw all these things. Um, Anyone want to share anything before going to next, continue this topic? Maybe Purnata Rathamada, if possible, if you are ready, material is available. Can you share that farmer analogy? It summarizes things nicely.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, my pranams to you.
Great.
You want me to share verbally or in the
Sharing rights? Yeah.
sorry?
You want
Where
share?
should I?
Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, now you can share more. Yeah, I think Sridhar going through Supriya Mataji, both are not there last week, so maybe little tough for you to immediately get that uh, PPT. But Mataji is giving one example that kind of summarizes entire concept. Right after that, we'll continue with the verse. We'll read purport. We not read purport last time. We'll read purport of the two shlokas and any some points and stop it today by 11 o'clock. Stop. Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So when we were in Bhakti Shastri class, Prabhuji had very nicely explained one analogy of farmer, uh, uh, which actually emphasized how we need to lead our life for higher purpose. And it was from chapter 13, na Prabhu?
13, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah, it was
13.
from chapter 13. The analogy was of a farmer and farmland. I just copy pasted it and I'll try to share it. Sorry, I just copy pasted it. It is not presented nicely. But the concept was about a farm, which is the body or the kshetra, farmer, that is the living entity, jiva. It is secondary kshetragna, and the king, which is supreme personality of Godhead, and the super kshetragna. So many things were explained, like we are not the body. So various concepts that we understood through Bhagavad Gita, all of them basically were explained through this one analogy, and it was very very profound. And that's why I remembered this last time when Prabhuji was explaining how we used to how we need to use our life and the outcome of our activities for the higher purpose. So uh, it was like body is we are not the body, and it was elaborated by farm is not equal to the farmer. Farmer is given farm for specific purpose. That means that we got this human body uh, for a specific purpose that we need to understand. Farmer needs to do something with the farm, and he should have the appropriate knowledge. So, being a living entity, we need to inquire, we need to think why we got the body and what is the purpose. So, that is why we need to have the knowledge how to use this body and make the best use of this opportunity. And we need to know everything what is vidya, what is avidya, and live our life as per the spiritual injunctions. Farmer is not owner of the farmland. That means Jiva is not the owner of this body, and we are not supposed to claim ownership. Owner has control over farmland and farm. That means the Supreme Lord is the owner of everyone and everything. Jiva and Jiva and body, and Jiva needs to acknowledge it and do activities which are sanctioned by the Lord. Farmer cannot give up farming. That means we cannot give up the duties associated with our body. Farmer cannot produce wrong products. Jiva should not be Jiva should not use the activities against spiritual injunctions, and cannot give up farming, he said, and cannot produce wrong products. That means uh, he needs to follow the Vedic rules and regulation as per Varnashram, else he'll be checked. Farmer is not just limited to farming. So these whatever activities that we do in our life, all that needs to be connected to higher purpose. So we cannot use all the output of our activities for sense gratification, but we need to strive for higher purpose, for self-realization, and for uh, connecting to the Lord. Family should not be used just for farming. Jiva should not use higher purpose for lower material gains. That was what was being explained in last class, where Prabhuji was telling that we cannot use activities uh, or the result of our activities for our own self. But we cannot, having said that, we cannot give up our prescribed duties. We will have to do whatever minimum is required to sustain the body, to do our responsibilities associated with the body and all the other relationship, but at the same time, center it around Krishna, so that we are also doing uh, things that uh, for which we got the human body. And finally, one should not just engage in activities for higher realization by giving up our prescribed duty. Prabhuji, yeah, you can
Yeah,
take
thank you, Mitesh. The last point is something like only farm, no family. Right? One should not, farm is here means just doing duty, right? Without, of course, this analysis is used for each, when we make particular point, these things may change. Family is sometimes used as sense gratification, sometimes used as higher purpose also. Just to understand the point, that's more important than specific analysis, right? So with one analogy, I think this entire, the two shlokas which we saw in 1.2.910, that is kind of summarized all those dynamics, right? Otherwise, the complex way which I spoke in terms of that block diagram, up arrow, down arrow, it's very confusing. Right? Mataji, she remembered nicely this farm and farmer analogy, which we used in Gita. It summarizes. If any of you couldn't get any particular point, let me know. We can discuss that before going to read the purport. We are not let Raksham purport. We just discuss this entire concept only. Nirmala Ranga Mataji and then Sridhar Goenko Supriya Mataji, because the last class Jana Priya Mataji and Punta Radha Mataji are there. Just for three of you. I'm
Thank
just
you,
recapping
Prabhu.
things. Recapping, yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice analogy that everything is covered, like most of the thing, like we are not the body and the soul and everything.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
how we should use our body for higher purpose, and everything is really nicely summarized, Prabhu.
yeah. Good. You got it very nice. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu.
Uh, yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead.
Thank you, Purnatara Mataji, as well, for nicely explaining. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Before Prabhuji had explained Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, the concept of Kshetra Kshetrajna, because I thought the language was very difficult to just understand by reading, but when Prabhuji explained this particular, so these are exactly Prabhuji's words. So I had noted down. So when he had explained, everything was very, very clear. And because this touched my heart so much, I remembered when he was explaining. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. We'll go back to the sloka. And before going to sloka, yeah, I will just read some section Bhagavatam. Just sorry, I'm little going front and back different things because we want to cover today only 9 and 10. Next week we'll go to very important verse 11. I'm trying to figure out which one's important I have to cover without missing the so that a good impression we will get on these two verses. Because the concept is anyway kind of understood for all of you. But for all of you sake, once we will read the translation, because chances are there that 1 week gap you would have forgot the translations. First we read translations once and then go back to the how to understand the purport little better. धर्मस्य हि अपवर्गस्य नार्थोऽर्थाय कल्पते नार्थस्य धर्म एकान्तस्य कामो लाभाय स्मृतः. This is a verse, very, 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 very important verse. This and next. I mentioned last class also. Please try to remember as much as possible. Learn these verses, two verses. We'll see why these two verses are important. And if I can see that entire our lifestyle, the details and essence, both are there in this, the flowchart or that farmer analogy. Right? You figure out any philosophy or any detail of our life, right? One analogy or two shlokas that gives answers for everything. Everything means as a broad level, right? You will not get confused. I mean, isn't it? Could you appreciate that aspect of the shlokas? And that, and of course, when I say that analogy, farmer analogy, it's not about farmer analogy itself. That analogy comes from the these two shlokas only. That all aspects are covered, practical and then essence. At the same time, even in this flow chart also, the same thing was mentioned actually in a kind of analytical way. Right? Moksha, dharma, artha. Of course, the moksha means you can keep bhakti also, just for simplicity is a yaksha. Right? All these are there, but how you use them back. Either you can use the higher purpose for lower purpose, or higher benefits for lower purpose, or lower benefits for higher purpose. And then at the same time, that itself has also has a purpose. Like no, the stage where you are in, that also has a purpose of its own. Along with that, how do you engage the byproducts? Right? So how do you recycle them back? Or how do you spend them, consume them? That defines at what level of consciousness we are. Right? And Prabhupada explains purport very nicely, because when you know this and then read purport, you can relish it very nicely. The shlokas say dharmasya apavargasya narthodaya kalte narthasya dharmekantasya kamo labhai sata. What for dharma and artha? What they are meant for, what they are not meant for. Right? Dharma's purpose is apavarga liberation. Right? When you do dharma, in the previous verses it was mentioned, right? But without na utpadayate diratim shrama eva hi kevalam. All the dharma that we do, at the end of the day, it doesn't increase our bhakti towards Lord. It's all waste of time. Right? The purpose of all our duties is, so that we become closer to Lord. In fact, the purpose of anything that we do, we should see that how much these activities make me closer to Lord, how much interaction, this relationship is making me closer to Lord. That litmus test, we should always do that for any activity as much as possible. I think we all discussed that, I think, previous classes. So purpose of dharma is apavarga. But what people use purpose dharma for? Na artha arthaya upakalpate. When you do dharma, dharma itself is standalone. Doing duty or farming. Farming is itself a standalone act. Whether you use farming for sense gratification or just money, or you do farming for pleasing the king or not taking care of the family. Right? So the farming itself is an activity, or doing dharma, or doing your duties, or being good, having good qualities, right? Whatever, all those things, they themselves doesn't have any independent situation of themselves, existence of themselves. Either that dharma has to convert it to artha, right? Artha means something which you further use it for. Of course, artha also doesn't have its existence. You just keep in bank, doesn't mean it exists. Artha has to be used for either for sense gratification or doing dharma back. Right? Similarly, dharma also doesn't have an existence of its own. Right? Dharma becomes artha. Artha cannot stay on its own. It has to become either kama or put back into dharma. One of the things has to happen. Yeah, moksha has its own existence, or bhakti has its own existence. Of course, kama, sense gratification, it has its own existence, one sense. But the two intermediary doesn't have its existence. Once they are done, they have to be invested or consumed back in a up or down, specifically. So the shloka says, you do dharma. The purpose of dharma, invest that dharma back in apavarga. Right? But we should not invest back it in just for getting money. Okay, now how you do job? How do you invest? Artha for benefit of moksha, not for kama. Right? Whatever you buy in a house or whatever facilities you have in house, right? Think that no house is a place of God. How I'm going to make it beautiful, I'm going to make facilities for those who are staying in such that they can do bhakti nicely. Right? So you can think in that direction. Or how are you going to use this artha to further your bhakti? Right? It's always has to be either go to kama, use it for sense gratification, or go back to moksha. If you engage artha in dharma, artha will increase. But if you engage artha in bhakti, then it reaches its final destination. Right? Or if you use artha in kama, sense gratification, you get some temporary happiness and long-term miseries, and artha is gone also. It's no more. Right? This point clear? Whatever, this much, whatever I mentioned.
Prabhu, artha means purpose, isn't it, Prabhu? How we can
Artha,
understand?
yeah, that's a good point, Prabhu. Thank you. I'll mention again. Artha doesn't have existence of its own, Prabhu.
Mhm.
Purpose of its own. Dharma doesn't have a purpose of its own. Right? They are
Mhm.
both intermediate stages of, you know, like, moksha or bhakti. Like simple. What does it be? Intermediate stages. Second result is someone who is already doing bhakti. Do they need to do dharma? No
Yeah,
need
I
of
think.
specifically, right? Specifically, it's already included, kind of.
Mhm.
Right? So if you do bhakti, naturally dharma is there. Dharma happens.
Mhm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada said, right? Someone last week, someone, I don't know, sometime they're telling me. Like, no, Prabhupada said, for the Mataji with small baby children, they have to take care of the children. That's more important. Right? Why Prabhupada said, being a devotee, right, the natural consciousness is to take care of them, right? Because God has given the responsibility to take care of them. They're God's children, living entities. Right? Take care of them. Whatever. That is bhakti only. Right?
Mhm.
When someone becomes a devotee, naturally they have to feel, oh, I have to take care of parents. I have to take care of environment. I need to behave nicely. Right? With everyone, not just with the devotees. So unknowingly, you're following dharma. You're tuned to follow dharma.
Mhm.
Right? Directly, indirectly, the benefits of dharma are already there. But
Mhm.
if someone follows dharma by default, right? Maybe do some charity, right? Follow varna dharma means follow varnashrama dharma,
Mhm.
right? When you follow varnashrama dharma, that is taking care of family, or no, that's ashrama, of course, or do your job. Right? Is it that just you keep doing your job? That's it, sufficient for your life? You never ask any money, or you never spend time with family. Just doing job is sufficient. Keep doing job.
No, that is just
No,
part
right?
of.
Yeah, it doesn't have existence of its own.
Mhm.
Right? Can you do bhakti like, no, some, like, no, previously went somewhere, 4 5 hours. I went to Parashar when I went IIT Mandi with the students there. Right? All of them are busy. They have to spend their how to spend their time. They don't know, all of them. Right?
Mhm.
They get bored unless they talk chit chat with, you know fellow people, or no, roam around. But for us devotees, we don't have to worry how to spend time. Just to have feedback, sit somewhere and chant 5 6
Mhm.
hours, whatever, or no, take a book and read. Right? We have existence of our own. It doesn't need any, specific endeavor.
Mhm.
Just bhakti activities you can keep doing. That's it. But your job, can you keep just doing it, doing it without any benefit purpose? Right? No, you cannot do that.
Mhm.
Right? That has to give you a result. What the result of your dharma, occupational duties? That is artha. Right?
Mhm.
You get money. That's
Yeah.
why you do job. Right? Or you
Yeah.
take care of family. When you take care of family, and then you are doing your duties as a grahastha properly, your physical health, mental health, they all will be taken care nicely, emotional health. Right?
Mhm.
And then you get a support to do good job, deal with the world nicely. Supposed to be, should not be a burden.
Mhm.
And then you get that situation gives, opportunity for you to do bhakti nice,
Mhm.
or that situation gives you to do dharma nicely, so that
Mhm.
you get better money, better artha. Right? So point is, dharma on its own doesn't have a existence of its own. you may keep doing it. It has to transform either into artha or bhakti.
Mm.
Right? Am I clear? This point?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
The others are also, is it clear? Maybe like now I may confuse
Yes,
it with like various statements, but
yes,
no,
Prabhu.
it's a very, very small, subtle thing, which we always do it, but we may not understand this small aspect. The duty itself doesn't have any, any thing of guilt. As such, only two things exist independently. Two independent things that can exist are, of course, one exists really, other exists in imagination independently. That is, bhakti really exists independently without need of anything else. Other thing is sense gratification. It exists independently without caring for anything else. Of course, that sense gratification actually depend upon Krishna only. Just that we don't understand that aspect. Right? Otherwise, everything has to either come down to kama or go back to bhakti. The in-between stages doesn't have existence of their own. That's my point. Is it clear for others?
Yes, Prabhu.
Purnata Radha Mataji and holds in one more chant.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. They are.
Right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. But
Very nice.
moksha, so here in the diagram you have given moksha, not bhakti. So here it's equivalent to bhakti.
It's like I did not add one more thing. It's equivalent to bhakti. Yeah. Whenever I say bhakti or moksha, keep it there. Of course, Sahitya moksha, we're not keeping anyway. All of you know that philosophy. Not to confuse further, I did not add much other
Yes.
vocabulary. Moksha is
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So it
Thank
has to end up either moksha or it has to come down to kama. One of the things has to happen. Right? Which direction you go depends upon in the core of hearts what is your philosophy. Right? Underlying your dharma or artha, deep inside, what shelter you take. Whether you take shelter of kama or whether you take shelter of bhakti. Towards that, these intermediate results gravitate or elevate, whichever it is. Right? In essence, that's the point. Right? Clear, right? So
Yes, Prabhu.
yeah, same is the case with artha also. Either artha, money you get, right? You get money. What purpose you use it? What do you with the money? Prabhu, what are the various ways you use money?
Yeah, we can use for lavish lifestyle. everything.
Lavish lifestyle. Lavish lifestyle falls to which category here?
Will come
Kama?
under kama.
Kama. Kama.
Yeah.
Lavish lifestyle also can come under any other thing. Or okay, money can be used for what else purpose? What are other purposes?
Yeah, you can use the money to travel to pilgrimage and everything that comes under the
Okay, that
category.
comes under bhakti aspect, moksha. Okay, what else you can use money for?
Yeah, you can use money for basic needs and requirements.
That is also, that's a good one. Yeah, that next loka will get it. Basic needs. Yes. Basic need is not mentioned here. In Bhagavatam, that is specially given in a special position. Okay. What else money you can use for?
You
Others
can
also
save
can
money,
add.
you can invest money,
Sorry, you can?
you can save money, you can invest
Okay,
money.
yeah. Saving money and investing money. That comes under artha, being used for artha one sense. Right? Of course, you can call it as a lower level of dharma. That's a different thing. Because your artha you are using in your varnashrama things, right? Investing, right? Or in a businessman, again, invest that money back into the business so that he earn more money. So one sense, lower level dharma he is using. Or artha can be used for charity, giving to poor people, or for any good philanthropic activities, benefit of others. That becomes dharma, right? So artha can be used as a niti. Niti means ardha shastra, improving the money economy. Artha can be used for dharma, charities, philanthropy. Artha can be used to bhakti, moksha, right? if you build
Yeah.
a temple, or if you give to devotee, or etc., etc., that becomes right. In fact, you take care of the family, that becomes bhakti if they are devotees, or
Mm.
if you do with that consciousness, or if you can spend live a lavish life, that comes to kama. So it has to end somewhere,
Mm.
right? Of course, you use artha to get artha, but it cannot go on for long time. It has to be end somewhere, otherwise it doesn't work. Same is the case with dharma also. But two extreme cases that stand alone are bhakti and kama, right? So
Mm.
this point is clear. Very nice. Thank you. So then we'll read the shloka again. Dharmasya hi apargasya nartho adhyay kalpate. Material results are not suitable as the goal. But sorry, I think this Prabhupada purport is easy actually to understand. Vishnu Chakravarti puts translation. We read Prabhupada. It's very clear. Right? All occupational engagements means dharma are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. They should never be performed material gain means when you're doing that, goal should not be for material gain. Right? Material gain will definitely come. Right? It's not that material gain has to be neglected. That's not the point. Right? This statement is clear, right? Very straightforward.
Yes, Prabhu.
Very
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. After that, maybe you can see that formal and emoji again. You find many parallels. Furthermore, next is they are coming to okay, dharma you do. You have to invest. Dharma you have to invest in bhakti only. But byproduct is artha. But what we do is we don't invest back in bhakti, but we take byproduct and happily settle with that byproduct. That's the worry with the psychology. All of us is that right? We are very bad in investing things, or we are very bad in estimating, understanding market value, where to invest. Right? We earn very nicely. We invest in such a place where we get lower, what we call returns, lower returns. Right? So if you invest dharma in bhakti, you get higher returns. But what we do is foolishly, we invest dharma in artha. Actually, we lose our returns. Right? If we invest artha in bhakti or dharma, we get higher returns. Instead of that, what we do is we get artha, we invest it in kama, where we lose all our money. Right? What we are supposed to do, we don't do that. We do completely opposite. We are always settle for something lower. When we settle for something lower from your position, what happens? Naturally, that
You will not
slowly
be happy.
you will not be
Yeah.
happy, and then that slowly takes us to the complete lower side, right?
Mm.
You're supposed to do moksha, right? You are doing moksha activities, right? But because you are settled, you invest in dharma, right? If you do moksha as moksha or bhakti as a bhakti, right? You will grow, you will go ahead. You will go ahead in the patha bhakti. But when you do bhakti, with what consciousness we do? Okay, I should become peaceful. My anxiety should go, or my piety should go, or my life should be prosperous, peaceful, right? With that consciousness, so we are doing activities of bhakti. The consciousness is lower consciousness. Our desire is lower level. So naturally, you will be after some time you put yourself in stage of dharma, not bhakti. Right now, okay, at least perform dharma nicely. No, when we do dharma, why do we dharma? So that we get more money. or we get more fame, or people notice us, see us. Right? By doing dharma, anyway, you get money, you get fame, or whatever other things doing your duty. But we consciously desire for lower things when we're doing a higher activity. Then naturally, what happens? Dharma becomes sakama. Sakama slowly puts you in artha level. You come level to artha level. Just live for the sake of earning. And when you just live for the sake of earning, without worrying about dharma, right? So naturally, you put yourself at lower level. Just enjoy it, because if you don't invest yourself in dharma, naturally you have to invest yourself in kama, because artha doesn't have a position of its own. Right? You are earning money. You don't put yourself in dharma, and you are naturally live for life of sense gratification. Uh, 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 then you destroy your artha by earning money at any cost. When you earn money at any cost, what will happen? You do adharmic living, adharmic earning, right? That becomes adharmic life, and you further fall down, right? To the extent you exploit, and you don't know what is best for you. So our problem is we are at one level, but we try to cut corners because of our wrong mentality of sense gratification. We don't do what we are doing. We always look to enjoy some lower things while doing higher. Right? This secondary nature, or this not focusing on what we do, doing something else, always lower things, that takes us always down, like gravity. But actually what we are supposed to do while doing what we are doing, we have to invest back in higher things. If we don't invest in back in higher things, naturally we have to invest in lower things and then fall down. Is this point clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Right?
Prabhuji,
It's yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I really wanted to know about how dharma is leading to bhakti or moksha. Because sometimes I get stuck with that. Like we say that our activity should be always, we keep Krishna as center. Is that the one which we can take into account for this one? Or
Yeah. So, well, very good question. Anyway, that means I cannot complete class. I had to take the extra one other question. Anyway, let's see. So how dharma, it's very easy. Artha, how to do in bhakti. Artha, invest in bhakti, you do charity, you take care of temple, some sponsorship, some yatras. It's very clear. Right? Or investing in your prasadam day to day is also kind of bhakti, because you feed Lord and take prasad. Right? In your kama, we don't know how to invest back in bhakti. That's a confusion state. And we don't compromise also. Let kama be kama separate, bhakti be bhakti. Right? The confusion comes is dharma, because dharma is like a gray area. Because dharma is a gray area. It's like how you, of course, it's directly perceivably you can do bhakti by dharma, but many times dharma becomes bhakti based on how we look at dharma, the consciousness, with what consciousness you do it. That's the one important thing. And some of the dharma things we can always directly also engage in bhakti. Like simple varnashrama will take. Of course, dharma means varnashrama one. Right? So the family life. Family life, how do you, it's a dharma, taking care. Right? Someone is married, you have father, mother, children, relatives, neighbors, society, country. This all comes under your varna, so ashrama, let's say. How do you take care of country from bhakti point of view?
By protecting
Preaching,
Sorry, yes, Mataji?
by preaching, by giving Krishna consciousness to everyone,
By
Prabhuji.
giving Krishna conscious to everyone. Yes. And what else? What else ways?
And supporting our army and soldiers also a kind of dharma, isn't it, Prabhu?
Kind of dharma. Okay. Yes.
That we are doing in the consciousness of their benefit and their welfare, which they can able to protect their them in the border that can support them and
Perfect. Perfect. Yes. Yes.
Prabhu being kind and compassionate to everybody and trying to do our duties
Correct.
uh,
Yeah.
towards our neighbors, about
Correct.
our
Yeah. Yeah. When we being a devotees,
city,
try,
government,
yeah, try to be nice with everyone, right? Help others in whatever situations they are, right? Of course, when doing that, we have to do in a consciousness, right? That relationships, I will either directly or indirectly, I will, impress upon them importance of bhakti, Krishna, right? Proper
also
dharmic
just
lifestyle. Yes. Yes.
even if we don't do that directly, Prabhu, but even if we look like they are part of Lord, this
Correct.
earth is an energy of the Lord, the water is given by Lord.
Correct.
So doing our duty towards it to not
Yeah.
exploit the resources,
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
only our specific quota, all that
Correct.
stuff.
Correct. Right. Exactly. There's a one pastime of that in Bhagavatam, Rantideva. Right. What Rantideva said is like no, he's fasting. He's a devotee. He's fasting for I don't know 1 year or something, some lot of days, and then he has to break fast along with his family members. Right. He's about to honor prasadam. Right. He's about to lose life. So much he fasted, and then demigods come to test him. They come in the form of a brahmana, some beggar, chandala, and finally dog. He's about to feed the family. He has to give it for others. He has to finally, drink water. He has to give to other people. Right? When now he doesn't have anything. If he gives water, only thing is he has to die now. He doesn't have anything to survive himself. When he's doing that, maybe like now we can get the shloka. I don't remember the shloka exactly. But the translation is something like a very beautiful shloka. He says, I'm seeing all of them as associates of the Lord. If for making them happy, if I have to give my life, I'm happy to give it. Right? So when he's offering food, when he's offering water to all these people, Chandala or dog, Brahmana, they're not devotees, but he's seeing them as those connected to the God. He is keeping his self-preservation or self need above their needs, like below their needs, and serving them. This is very, very tough. Yeah, but this is the highest level of consciousness. But at this lowest level, we can see that indirectly that can be connected to the God. Like, no, okay, you are paying your taxes nicely, so that maybe the government can use for army, and then that can be protected by temples can be protected, culture can be protected. If you have that vision when you are doing it, right, that's a good. When you're taking care of relatives or family members or taking care of neighbors or giving charity to beggars, maybe your kindness. Of course, don't have to fake our kindness so that they see us as a devotees. It's naturally okay. Someone is suffering, let me give it. And because you are practicing devotee, so the impression they get upon because of you, right? This person is nice and he's giving charity, and that naturally, that relationship you can invest to make them devotees later if possible. Otherwise, at least they get Agnata Sukriti, right? Or this is a very indirect way I mentioned. Directly, when Bharat Maharaj, Jada Bharat, his previous life Bharat Maharaj, when he is doing yajnas, in the heart he is a devotee, but as a king he has to do karma kanda yajnas, invite various demigods and give them offerings. So when he is calling Indra, Indraya Swaha, or Varunaya Swaha, whatever the mantras they call to offer to the demigods, he doesn't think he's calling demigod. Right? When he's calling Indraya Swaha, I am offering this, ghee to the arms of the Lord, shoulders of the Lord, because Indra is shoulder of Lord. Right? I think Varuna is maybe stomach of the Lord. Right? So he doesn't think it is a particular demigod I'm offering. I'm offering this to various body parts of the Lord. So then the Karmakanda Yajna, for outsiders, it is Karmakanda Yajna. For the sake of citizens, he's doing Karmakanda Yajna. But because of his consciousness, the same Yajna became Bhakti now. Right? And then more specifically, furthermore, if we come family side things, when you're doing any of these marriage functions, right? These days we see marriage functions, how they give priest very less money, 2,000, 3,000 rupees, ask them to quickly complete their rituals. But enter night, they keep all these musical dances, photo videos, or lakhs of rupees. Like they spend so much money, all these things. Lakhs of rupees spent on this, I don't know what you call that. They spend a lot of money on marriages, for all other activities. But main marriage, it is actually called as Vivaha Yajna. It's not called a Vivaha. It's a Yajna is more important. Right? This is done as, as a sacrifice. Vivaha is sacrifice. Yajna means for the pleasure of Vishnu, you do it. How you are actually, by doing that, how are you giving pleasure to Vishnu? Right? That aspect is completely missing. Right? So even at the dharmic level, if you know why you are doing that activity, how are you pleasing Vishnu by that activity, and then your focus is more on pleasing Vishnu rather than the activity itself, like Bharat Maharaj or top level Rantidev. So activity level also you can connect to Krishna, and conscious level also you can connect to Krishna. At the same time while doing bhakti activities, such dharmic activities. Right? What does it mean, yajna? What does it mean to be like taking care of family? Right? Vivaha yajna, I have not gone much into those samskaras rituals, but it's understood Vivaha is done that there's a special Vaha means carrying, taking responsibility, special taking responsibility happens there. Right? It's like husband is guru and wife becomes disciple. Right? That's actually marriage is like Varnashrama Diksha for lady is marriage. Varnashrama Diksha for a boy is when you get Upanayan Samskar. Just to go to Gurukul and learn mantras, how to do dharma, how to do yajnas, how to live a proper Vedic lifestyle so that he can progress towards moksha. That training boy gets from a guru in Gurukul. The same training a girl gets in a Vedic lifestyle. They get trained by mother, grandmother, and father in the house. And then specifically, Vivaha happens. That is like Vivaha is not a ceremony for the boy. Vivaha is actually a function for the girl. That boy's role is nothing actually, nothing much. Right? It's actually everything about a girl actually. They are getting diksha, right now, diksha in Vedic lifestyle. The boy being her guide. It's actually initiation. Right? Initiation we all see very spiritual. But Vivaha Yajna is also actually spiritual. Right? While trying to take care of all other requirements, right? Bodily, physical, mental, and economical, or emotional, everything else, right? Keeping the goal as moksha. That is Vivaha Yajna. Yajna is there, Vishnu is the center. Right? So together they will go ahead. Boy is guided by Guru, and both of them together travel towards path of moksha. Right? If this is understood and followed, that leads. Right? We do any namakaran yajna or no any other samskaras to the children, right, within our national fold. The main thing is the yajna that happens. The ritual contains worship of Vishnu. That means the Brahmana comes, you serve Brahmana, and on your behalf, he worships Vishnu for the benefit of child and the family. And then, as a reciprocation, you feed all your relatives who are also supposed to be dharmic, knowing the value of life, right? And they give blessings to you, they are happy. In our parlance of ISKCON, right? Any birthday party or any other rituals in the home, samskaras, you call devotees, do Harnam Sankirtan, and some katha happens, and some prasad happens. When there is katha, when there is a yajna happens, when there is kirtan happens, when prasad happens, is it spiritual or no? Any gathering,
Yes, Prabhu.
right? We do arti, any our programs we do arti, it's yajna. Yajna is also same arti happens, Shodashopcharas, puja also Shodashopcharas. We all do kirtan, right? Prasadam, blessings of devotees, association, some katha. The same thing happens in the samskaras, in Vedic samskaras also. Supposed to happen. The priest is like, the preacher or a senior person who comes, does arati, puja, gives some katha, and all the relatives are also similar elevated people in that particular samskaras or culture. Right? It happens that marriage, after marriage, take care of seniors' blessings. They all give blessings. Right? What does that mean? It's like taking blessings of devotees, same culture there. Taking blessings of those who are expert in dharma. Because dharma they're done for a long time, they give blessings to the new people. The new people also can do bhakti nicely or dharma nice. And you feed them samtas prasadam, like no food, they all happy, give gifts, take gifts, association. Yeah, it all actually, dharma actually boiled down to kama in the, all as marriage rituals or other rituals. But actually, the purpose of even that is towards moksha. If we know it, if we do consciously do it, or if we even with basic awareness we do it, it makes us little closer to that. Because the dharma is a broader framework in which the medicine of bhakti is given. Someone who knows that this is how it works, they can figure out and give importance to that, or they can even expand that within the framework of dharma. Suppose a devotee does marriage, yajna for his children, or any samskaras, right? You see the culture when you go to your relative's place and see the marriages, and you see how a devotee does. Right? There's a complete so much difference, right? But it is dharma only finally, right? So dharma, there's a ritual and the mood that goes with, the essence that goes with. How do you understand? Accordingly, you can transform. Is it clear, Mataji? If I don't know whether I digressed or I could elaborate point.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so that same mood you can carry everywhere, like in all those aspects of Varna and Ashrama as much as possible.
Yes, Prabhu.
If we know why those exist. To the extent of Rantidev, which Mataji gave example, just offering water to someone, think like just by offering them, he got mukti. At a beggar and Chandala and a dog offering water, right? He's seeing so much connection to God that that gave him mukti. Right? If we are that level of consciousness, even that activity can mukti. If not, we can cultivate the inherent consciousness which is prescribed in the scriptures in the name of dharma. Because the goal of dharma is not artha, goal of dharma is not dharma, goal of dharma is apavarga. Right? Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Is it clear or any?
Yes, Prabhu. Like I was thinking in terms of when we go for office work and all those stuffs, like most of the time we spend there. So in that case, is when our consciousness is on Krishna, we are keeping Krishna in our consciousness and doing our work. So that leads to bhakti and the moksha.
Mataji, what happens is like the jobs which we do, like no simple, there are very ugra jobs, shudra jobs. Then shudra also we are serving those who are, see shudra. Sorry for that. Just because no that unnatural expectation should not be there. That's why I'm elaborating that. In previously the shudras they work under brahmana. Right? They work in the house of a brahmana. Some rich brahmanas are there. They work, or even a poor brahmanas also they work. Because some shudras think I cannot work under somebody else. I want to work under a brahmana. Right? They may help those brahmana in particular things. Or some shudras work under rich people, kingly or no, very rich people. Some shudras work under a businessman. Right? Why they choose under different people? What might be their psychology? Right?
Good
It said, no,
training, Prabhu.
shudras are always servant of the three classes. That's what we hear. Right? That means they work for these three classes and they accordingly they get their remuneration. Why a particular shudra choose one of these three? What might be the criteria for them? Do we see someone in maybe I don't know in UK how here sometimes in our temples some devotees no, some people they said we can't work outside, we want to work in temple only. Even if we get less money it doesn't matter. Our temples cannot pay so much money, but they say like no, in our temple there are drivers for last 20-25 years. There are no security people last 20-25 years. Same thing. Right? Their salary doesn't increase so much compared to outside. When I asked them, why are you here? You go outside, you'll get so much money. They said, nine approach. They're so much too used to this place. Prashadam. And people respect us. They don't see us as a driver or watchman. So we can take darshan of the God. Right? Kidhar milta hai aisa? We cannot work under somebody else. We may get money, will not get respect and the peace that we get here. Right? In that sense, watchman or driver is a Shudra job. Unless, the driver is driving his own car, he is driving for somebody else. It's a Shudra job. But these people prefer to work under a Brahman because their purpose is, they're clear, like what kind of lifestyle they want.
Yeah.
Right? Some people, they don't want to work, they want to work with this particular Brahman group. Maybe now we don't see, maybe in villages sometimes we see that kind of structure. I don't know, now it may not be there. Right? They only work under particular people. Some other people only work under administrative people. Right? The king may tell our administrative person tell, okay, go and get this done. Right? This Shudra who is working under a king or kingly. Now kings are not there, but no top people in the villagers, maybe like the head of the village, Jamindar type of people. The Shudras who are working them, they also carry same psychology, powerful, like very strong minded. They get money along with that. They like that kind of role, working under such. Right? They may take risk. If someone is working under a Vaishya, what happens?
He also has the same kind of mentality.
Mentality at the same time,
Get
work
him,
under a Vaishya. like now we see like no there someone said these families of no Ambanis or Birlas or any Marwadi families, same and the father businessman, the son becomes businessman, and then somebody is working under a father, right, in their shop or in their business. The next generation also work under this son only. The son of the son also comes to work under this son. And then they may not get so much salaries, but marriage happens in the family of a worker, right? This Marwadi or this businessman, they celebrate the marriage as if it's their own family marriage. They give so much money, give dowry from their own things, right? If they become sick, they take care of as if they are family members. So if they want that kind of respect, that kind of money, that kind of take care, financial take care, they work under Vaishyas. If you work under Brahmana, you may not get all those facilities. But if you work under Vaishyas, you get it. Right? These Vaishyas, they take care of the workers as if they are family members. That's why generations of generators, they work. Right? Nowadays, that culture is not there. Being these companies, etc., they can lay off at any time. Right? All that kind of culture. Actual principles which you see in software companies in their the orientation session, etc., they tell, okay, we have these principles, this value system, that. Actually, all those value systems are there in Vaishya culture in India, Indian businessmen, right? Not just startup business wala, traditional business people, right? Coming to the point, such a different digression is because the place where we are working, they are not Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya. They are not even Shudras, the worst exploiters. Right? You can't expect peace. You can't expect such a situation where you can connect to Krishna Mataji. It's somehow in your home you have to do nice bhakti so that you will not get disturbed by the atmosphere in the office. If you
Yes.
can do something better than that, you are great. That is your specialty. Right? Too much expectation, it cannot happen. It's not such a place. Then probably you have to change your place if you want such place. Right? I mean,
but it's very now impossible to change the place.
I'm saying just your expectation to see that kind of exploitative culture situation and trying to think of Krishna, it doesn't happen. Think of Krishna that Krishna doesn't exploit. Let me go back and take shelter of Krishna nicely. Indirectly, we can remember Krishna. Directly, you can't apply principles in such a place. How much good a goat may be, nice goat may be, if it is taking shelter of a master of a slaughterhouse, one day is going to slaughter on. Right? The goat may say Hare Krishna, or goat may say serve the slaughter man nicely. It's going to slaughter. That's why we whatever possible get that much. And then so that aspect is something. There are few aspects, right? The few aspects are always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Two things.
Yes.
Right? In a Vedic culture, when you do even your occupational duty, because of these situations, like Brahman, you work under a Brahmana as a Shudra, you're naturally, it's already like devotional in one sense. The Shudra may not have so much consciousness of devotion, but the culture of devotion, atmosphere of devotion, they are. Right? That workers are drivers who work in our temple may not be like as devotional as head pujaris, but they're happily gelling with the culture of devotion. Right? In a Vaishya culture, the value systems are there. They don't exploit so much their employees. Or Kshatriya culture, they take care, like indirectly, directly. Because Kshatriya means he has to take care of people, worry about other people. That means, naturally that psychology of taking care of other people comes in the Shudra who is working under a Kshatriya. right? Thinking about somebody else, risking life for someone else, not able to tolerate the pain of others. Right? That is a good nature that helps in bhakti. Right? So
Yes.
these things are naturally there in that Varnashrama culture. That's why
Mm.
it's easy to connect them to Krishna, or at least such a thing that no, they don't make you forget Krishna. If you remember Krishna, it's great, but at least they don't make you forget Krishna. But the
Yes.
culture which you are in,
Yeah.
they make you forget Krishna.
Yeah.
Right? So we cannot compare your office situation and then put these principles, definitely not. At max, best thing is don't lose so much your mental energy, physical energy, such that when you come back to home and temple, you get so much disturbed. That much you have to survive. Survival is the best thing you can do in the present situation. But of course, the money you get anyway, that we can always use in the various other things.
That's all.
Right? Yeah, that's the point. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for those
Yeah.
questions.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
So just we'll read this and purport quickly. We will not do anything else now, any questions. And maybe 10, 15 minutes will complete so that it doesn't spill to next class. So this is a Professor Hopkins, July 13, 1975, Philadelphia. He's asking,
Prabhu, we see the Word document.
sorry, Mataji. You are seeing what? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll show this. We'll just read this, nothing, no more discussion much. We'll complete this shloka. Okay. Someone can read. Oh, you can read fast also, not a minute to list.
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhupada, how are you? Professor Hopkins, fine, thank you.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
stop. You don't have to read Prabhupada and Hopkins, so we'll save time.
Okay. Fine, thank you. Thank you. I have several questions that I would like to raise. I have a long-standing interest in you can sit down, in Srimad Bhagavatam, and this I know is very important to you and to the Chaitanya tradition. Yeah, you have seen all the parts published, books, and which canto you have read. I'm not thinking so much of the specific cantos as the Srimad Bhagavatam as a whole. Is that for you, as you see it, more important than Bhagavad Gita? No, Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So you would see the two related to each other. Yes, if one can understand Bhagavad Gita, then he becomes a bona fide student of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, because you have read Bhagavad Gita? Oh, yes, I have. So Bhagavad Gita, last instruction is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Bhagavad Gita 1866. You give up all kinds of occupations and just surrender unto me. If one can take it very seriously, understand, then he can enter into the study of Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam begins from the point where Krishna left Bhagavad Gita. So he advised that you surrender to me, and Bhagavatam begins Satyam Param Dhimahi, SB 111. I am worshipping the supreme truth. And next verse is Dharma Prochita Kaitavotra 112, Srimad Bhagavatam. All cheating types of religious system is rejected. So this is rather revolting. Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Give up all kinds of religious system, just surrender to me. And from that point, Bhagavata begins. All cheating type of religious system is rejected. It is meant for the Paramahamsa, Paramo Nirmat Sarnam. Those who are envious, for them is not Bhagavata. So any materialistic person, he is envious. It is not meant for the materialistic person. Those who are spiritually advanced, one who has understood that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, my direct connection is with Krishna, therefore my only business is to serve God. One who has come to this conclusion, he is called Paramahamsa. Hamsa means swan. A swan, it has got a quality that if you give the swan to drink milk mixed with water, she will drink the milk and reject the water. She has got the capacity. So Paramahamsa means one who has taken the essence of the existence, absolute truth. He is called Paramahamsa. So you would see the Bhagavad Gita were then as accessible to a wide range of people at an elementary level or beginning level, whereas Srimad Bhagavatam would be for more advanced people. Not only advanced, completely advanced. Because so long one will be stay on the material platform, he will be envious of others only. Animal propensity dog. Dog does not like another dog is coming. So, unless one is spiritually realized, the dog mentality will remain there. It is said, Na so munir yasya matam na binnam. Even amongst the topmost thinkers, if he does not refute other thinkers, he is not a good thinker. That enviousness. He will not be established a good thinker if a scientist, if he cannot refute the previous scientist, he is not a scientist. This is material world. Everyone is envious of the other. So Bhagavata meant for those for who is no more envious, simply loving. Why is that more necessary for Srimad Bhagavatam than for Bhagavad Gita? More Bhagavatam, I told you, it is counterpart. Just like when you have passed the school examination, that next you admit yourself for degree or graduate degree. Similarly, Bhagavata is the end of education. Everyone is progressing. When one comes to Srimad Bhagavatam and understands it, then his education is complete. Then would it be dangerous for someone who is not at that level to study Srimad Bhagavatam, or would they simply not understand it? Dangerous means if one is not completely educated of self-realization, he has the risk of degradation. He has what? The risk of degradation. Now I have got human form of body. I may degrade to animal because transmigration of the soul. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Tata Dehantra Praptir. After death, one gets another body. Now, what kind of body? That depends on his work. Urdhavam Gachanti Sattva Staha. 14 Bhagavad Gita 14:18. If he has done very nicely in goodness, then he will be promoted to the higher planetary system. And if he has not done anything nice, then he will remain here, or he will be degraded to the lower planetary system. That is, how does that relate to the question of studying the Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, if one realizes properly, then he gets promotion back to home, back to Godhead. He is no more a person to live in this material world. Material world means ups and downs, ups and down. And spiritual world means steady life of knowledge and bliss. But if one were to read Srimad Bhagavatam, who was not ready for this, not preferred for that, this might throw them into confusion, then, or this would be no. Would it be bad for them, or would they simply not learn from it? No. As I told you, our only business is to know the absolute truth. If you do not try for this, then you remain animals. Animals cannot know the absolute truth. So to remain animals means some variety of lives. Sometimes cats, sometimes dogs, sometimes demigod, sometimes this, sometimes that, sometimes American, sometimes something else. This will go on. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. Bhagavad Gita 8.19. In this life we are living, we are making the next body. So if we work nicely, then next body may be the highest planetary system or above this material world in the spiritual world. And the way to progress then is to take, to study, to learn these things in order, in the proper order. Yes. I remember when I first met Brahmananda in New York. I came there initially in part two because I had been studying Bhagavatam and I wanted to talk to people in the temple about Srimad Bhagavatam. And they said, "What is this?" Laughs. We have heard Swamiji speaking of this, but we don't know it. A few years later, you were all sitting around reciting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Was this? You did not begin to teach Srimad Bhagavatam when you first came to the US. No, I taught Bhagavad Gita first of all, then Bhagavata. So you prepared them with, oh yes, Bhagavad Gita and then Srimad Bhagavatam. You have seen yesterday's procession? I didn't get to the one yesterday. No. So, unless we have prepared groundwork, it is not possible. A related question, which is practical question also. I'm collecting material for a kind of source book, reading in Hinduism, contemporary as well as classical, and would like to include in these readings some of the things that you have written. Of the things that you have written, what do you consider most important?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we can focus much. He's asking what out of all the things that you have written, what do you consider most important? Yes. Yeah. Please read.
Prema Pumarto Mahan. The most important thing is how to love God, and where of the things that you have written would that come? Yeah. Where in the things that you have written, where would that message come through most clearly? In Vedanta philosophy, the most important philosophy. He is asking which one of your books? Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavatam. Which of your books do you consider to be most important? Well, beginning from the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. Janmadi Asya Yataha, SB 1.1.1. It is step by step. First of all, Bhagavad Gita study nicely so we can get the idea of absolute truth. And then by studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, you understand more and more, more and more, more and more. But is there any one of the translations or one of the purport or of a series of purport of the things that you have published that you think is more clear, more? Every shloka we are describing word to word. So every shloka you will find new idea. There are 18,000 verses. Laughs. I would react the same way if anyone asked me a question like that. But you have, in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, you did discuss the general story. Oh, yes. You have not seen it? Yes, I have seen it. I'm just wondering that your judgment is on what? If you had to say to someone who was going to collect one small section of your book, that what would you want them to collect?
Yeah. This is a point, right?
Yeah.
Saying that he wants to know one particular section, right, to understand. And Prabhupada is bringing him back, right, go systematically, right? And then finally, he asked the question very directly, right? I want to publish somewhere what you want to say, essence of it. Tell me one thing. And then what Prabhupada says, please read.
Okay. That is stated in few verses. You find out this. Dharmasya hi apavargasya. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.9. In the first canto, yes. Dharmasya hi apavargasya narto arthayo pakalpate. The first thing is that people become religious. Just like in your Christian religion, they go to the church to get some material profit. Oh God, give us our daily bread.
Sufficient, Mataji. Maybe you all can read later. So this contains almost same as a purport which Prabhupada gave. We'll read the purport, right? So that we can complete the purport. So the point is these two verses which we are discussing today, which we discussed last Sundays. These two, Prabhupada, when someone asked Prabhupada, what is the essence of all of your teachings, all the books we wrote? The Prabhupada says these two verses. Right? Dharmasya apavargasya narthavardhaya kalpate, nardhasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya smritaha. This verse and these two verses are together. Like same concept is mentioned. Kamasya na indra pritir labho jiveta yavata, jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yasya. Prabhupada says the entire, all his teachings, the essence is these two verses. So we'll read a translation, purport of these two and stop. Maybe I'll read and then we'll complete it. If any other questions, you can send me the WhatsApp or next week also we can discuss. So next week we'll start another very, very, very important verse. And of all Gaudiya Vaishnavism literature, the crucial verse is 1.2.11. Because 1.2.9 and 10 are essence of all Prabhupada teachings. And then 1.2.11 is the crucial verse for explaining Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. So next week, that verse is also very, very important, famous verse. Vadanti tattva tattvam jnanam apvayams. 9-10 purport and close here. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Purport. We have already discussed that pure devotional service to the Lord is automatically followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from material existence. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagements, including those of relations, are meant for material gain. That general tendency, some people think, okay, those who do bhakti, knowledge and detachment. There are other types of people, other type of situation where you do bhakti, you do dharma, you enjoy, you get money, you enjoy. They think the purpose of dharma and artha is something else. Dharma and artha is actually not meant for those who are doing bhakti. Bhakti is a different type of people. For Prabhupada was saying here. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagements, including those of religion, are meant for material gain. General tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world, general tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain some material profit in the exchange for religious or any other occupational service. Even in the Vedic literatures, for all sorts of religious performances, an allurement of material gain is offered. The most people are attracted by such allurements or blessings of religiosity. Why are such so-called men of religion allured by material gain? Because material gain can enable one to fulfill desires, which in turn satisfy sense gratification. This cycle of occupational engagements includes so-called religiosity, followed by material gain, and material gain followed by fulfillment of desires. Sense gratification is a general way for all sorts of fully occupied men. Right? Does it cover the statements of Prabhupada flow? What we discussed last week, right? The flow chart. So very clearly Prabhupada writes, like any person, anywhere, use dharma for artha or occupational duty for artha and artha for sense gratification. Right? But in the statement of Suta Goswami, as per the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam, this is nullified. But the sloka, present sloka is giving different understanding. What is that understanding? One should not engage himself in any sort of occupational service for the material gain only. Right? The point is not that we should not earn money. Artha should not be done. That's not the point. Artha should not be only the goal. Right? That can be byproduct. That should not be the only goal. Nor should material gain be used for sense gratification. But how should we use material gain? How much sense gratification is allowed? Right? Should we earn money? Should we do sense gratification at all? Right? Those are the natural questions. If so, how much? Where is that cutoff? So that is answered in the shloka number 10. Kamasya na indriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa natho yascheha karmati. Kamasya means desires, right? Artha, and then you fulfill kama, desires. The desires should not be engaged, or the artha should not be engaged for indriya pritir, sense gratification. What should be artha should be engaged for? Labho jiveta yavata, just for self-preservation. That much is the goal of kama. Artha should be used for kama. The kama, only the kama that is bona fide is not sense gratification is not bona fide. The bona fide kama is self-preservation. Of course, self-preservation can be little different for different types of varnas and ashramas. Right? Of course, if we go beyond as a varna ashrama, think of as devotees, we can reduce as much as possible, even though we are in different varnas and ashramas. But being in a society, one may have to live certain lifestyle to go with the flow. He may accept something less or more depend upon the situation. But it should not be for indriya trupti, it should be for self-preservation. But then the question is, see, here every time we are asking, okay, this is not for this, this is for this, this is not for this, this is for this. Finally, it ended up at, the kama ended up at self-preservation, right? But why self-preservation? What should I do with self-preservation? Just live? That should be the goal of life? No. Jivasya tattva jignasa na artho yascheha karmati. The goal of living is to do tattva jignasa. Right? Dharma is for apavarga, not for artha. Artha should be used, right, not for sense gratification. Artha should be used for living, basic sustenance. Then why you live? Why is life is for? So that you do tattva jignasa. That goes back to, right, apavarga only, one sense. Right? So all these things should be connected back to apavarga, liberation. So that's a point. So we don't just live for saying, okay, sake of doing duties, sake of earning money, sake of sense gratification, and just live for all this. That's a cycle. That cycle should not happen. The goal of the living should be tattva jignasa. Then all of them fall into proper life, right? So life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about absolute truth, nothing else should be goal of one's works. This is also another nice purport. We'll read it. And then after that, we'll complete the class just reading purport and books. The completely bewildered material civilization is wrongly directed towards fulfillment of desires in sense gratification. In such civilization, in all spheres of life, the ultimate end is sense gratification. Right, that's the point. Like, no, if you don't have tattva jignasa as a goal, you naturally end up at kama as a goal. There is no in-between state. In-between only becomes a means for that. Either use in-between as a means for sense gratification or use in-between as a means for tattva jignasa. Only these two things exist. In politics, in social service, altruism, philanthropy, ultimately in religion, or even in salvation, Right? If our way of seeing all these things is sense gratification, even if it's a religion, even if it's a moksha, we end up doing sense gratification. The very same tint of sense gratification is ever increasingly prominent. Right? None of these can take away the sense gratificatory desire in us, even for desire for moksha also. In the political field, the leaders of the men fight with one another to fulfill their personal sense gratification. The voters adore the so-called leaders only when they promise sense gratification. As soon as voters are dissatisfied with their own sense gratification, they dethrone the leaders. Leaders must always disappoint voters by not satisfying their senses. The same is applicable in all other fields. Right? It applies everywhere. Right? Everywhere means everywhere. Right? No one is serious about problems of life. Even those who are on the path of salvation desire to become one with absolute truth and desire to commit spiritual suicide for sense gratification. But the Bhagavatam says that one should not live for sense gratification. One should satisfy the senses only in so much as required for self-preservation and not for sense gratification. Because body is made up of senses, which also require certain amount of satisfaction, there are regulative directions for the satisfaction of such senses. But the senses are not meant for unrestricted enjoyment. For example, marriage or combination of a man with woman is necessary for progeny, but is not for sense enjoyment. In the absence of voluntary restraint, there is a propaganda for family planning, but foolish men don't know that family planning is automatically executed as soon as there is search after the absolute truth. Seekers of absolute truth are never allured by unnecessary engagements in the sense gratification because the serious students seeking absolute truth are always overwhelmed with the working of researching the truth, tattva jignasa. In every sphere of life, therefore, ultimate end must be seeking after absolute truth. And that sort of engagement will make one happy because he will be less engaged in varieties of sense gratification. And what the absolute truth they explained. Okay, then naturally the question comes is, what is tattva jignasa? Right? And what is absolute truth is explained as follows. That's it. Next loka. Okay, life purpose of life is tattva jignasa. Okay, what is that tattva? Then the next loka comes, vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam ejnanamatva. What is that tattva is explained in the next loka. Right? Yeah, just when I'm reading this, it could just come at a very nice point, observation. Where is that? Okay, 1 minute, just now. Where is that going? Here I think. Yes. Seekers of absolute truth are never allured by unnecessary engagements in self-cachette. No, somewhere, just sorry, I missed it. Okay, let me read it. A very nice point. In the absence of voluntary restraint, there is a propaganda of family planning, but foolish people don't know that family planning is automatically executed as soon as there is a search for absolute. Seekers of absolute truth are never allured by unnecessary engagements in sense gratification because the serious students seeking absolute truth are always overwhelmed by the working of researching the truth. In every sphere of life, therefore, the ultimate end must be this is the one. In every sphere of life, therefore, the ultimate end must be seeking after absolute truth. That sort of engagement will make one happy because he will be less engaged in varieties of sense gratification. Right? Just this point Prabhupada says is, every sphere of life, we should look for absolute truth. Right? Is it easy? Of course, one sense, Mataji, the question you ask is that.
Yes,
while
Prabhu.
doing
It is
our
not.
dharma, while doing duties, while doing job, while doing everything else. How can we do Tattva Jignasa? But Prabhupada said what here? Every sphere of life. Every means every, definitely. Prabhupada meant it. Ultimate end must be seeking after absolute truth. And that sort of engagement only will make one happy. I mean, is it too much that Prabhupada is asking? All others also can answer, just like just with this simple, it's not simple, like no, nice point will end.
It's too much in one sense, and it's not too
Too
much
much,
in
right? It's too much. I mean, too much. I also agree. Too much. It's too much. Every sphere of life, ultimate end, seeking Krishna, absolute Tattva Jignasa, right? In all the things you have to see Tattva Jignasa, Krishna, Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan, seen everything, right? It's very tough. Right? Just the point here is, but what we all call tough, right? There's something else you will say it's not tough. Okay. Right. See here, Prabhupada, like just I'm reading, I came across this nice logic which it's coming. We find it very tough to find Tattva Jignasa in everything. But here what Prabhupada started with, in such civilization, which civilization? Completely beyond material civilization, wrongly directed towards fulfillment of desires and sense gratification. In such civilization, in all spheres of life, the ultimate end is sense gratification. And Prabhupada list all the things. Right? Right? Forget you are a devotee, of course, or maybe about your friends who are not devotees. Is it tough for us to do sense gratification in every activity that we do? Is it really tough?
For me, it becomes a little bit tough, Prabhu.
In the sense, okay, for you it's very tough. Okay,
Yeah.
at least I'll see it everywhere. Every opportunity we always seek sense gratification.
It
Yeah.
comes naturally, Prabhu.
It comes
It's
naturally,
easier.
right? Family
Yeah.
relationship, husband, wife, children, parents, office, job, in bhakti also, along with other people, and everywhere, anything that we see in the world, our ultimate end is, our goal is, how do I get sense gratification from this? Right?
You don't even have to try, Prabhu.
You don't have to try, you are very natural, right? Raganuga. Every spirit, everywhere. To the extent Prabhupada proved, in politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy. Of course, what to speak of now? Very loyal animal level or not day-to-day level that things we do. That is definitely it is there. In all the covered up nice things, politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, ultimately in the religion, dharma, even in moksha, we are very expert in seeing sense gratification. Right? If you are expert in seeing sense gratification, right, Prabhupada, right, where anything, anywhere, something like previous purport, right? He writes, previous purport, he writes this nice point. He says, general tendency of any ordinary being, any part of the world, is to gain some material profit. Okay, Svarartha. And here he proves, Prabhupada says, even in moksha, we are expert in seeing sense gratification. Right? If we can see sense gratification in moksha, right, is it tough to see bhakti in lowest things also? Logically possible, right?
Prabhu, logically possible.
Logically possible.
Yeah.
Just that we have to try it. Its possibility is there. We can see sense gratification everywhere. We can do sense gratification everywhere. We can turn even moksha into sense gratification. Then we can turn any situation into bhakti also. Because that's a conditioned soul. I mean, not conditioned, that's a marginal nati, tatastha Shakti.
Mm.
Tatastha Shakti capacity is there. Sitting in Goloka, we can think of sense gratification and come here. Sitting here, probably in your office, Right? You can do some Tattva Jignasa and go back to spiritual world. It's highly possible. Right? Logically possible. Whether emotionally we connect to that, it's a different thing. Right? It's a process, it's a progress, it's a training, sadhana bhakti. At least we can accept that we can see sense gratification everywhere. We are much more competent to see Krishna also everywhere. Right? With that real purpose. Yeah, yes.
Prabhu, when
Yeah.
and the only roadmap for me to do that is again given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, because he has clearly given that
Ah.
progressive level of
Yeah,
bhakti.
12.8 to
only-
12. Yes.
Yeah. So it's logical, but it is difficult. But the roadmap is given by Krishna.
Roadmap is given, and then capability is there. Right? We are capable to see sense gratification, means we are also capable to do bhakti. Right? We are equipped with that. That's a point. Right? Thank you. Very nice. Madhu. Thank you. Thank you for all of you. Hare Krishna. Because it's late already, no? 2 hours. I told we'll complete 11 o'clock. It did not happen. So we'll stop here. So please read purport. Maybe you can highlight your points. Read minutely every sentence. Connect back to what you read already in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Right? And then release the purport. Next week we'll see the turning point or no keywords of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. 1.2.11. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
We don't want your class to stop, but yeah, we'll have to. Thank you.
I don't tell one story, one joke. You're also mercifully coming. Anywhere I give class, they say bored. At least all of you are so merciful. I'm grateful to all of you actually.
And we are grateful, Prabhu, that
You
you're giving so much
humbly,
time.
Prabhuji.
So
Prabhuji,
nice
we are
explanation.
grateful that you explained it so deeply and
See the
you
purport of
try to
Prabhupada.
make it so simple.
Yeah. Purport of Prabhupada is so nice. Logic. I did not, when I read long time back, I did not feel it. Very nicely felt it. Very good. Thank you. Hare Krishna.